Okay, and apparently this actually works, I think. Um, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I just wanted to get an update video up. I know, I've actually found out I have 5 subscribers, which is like more than I thought I'd actually have. Anyway, I'm actually on my way right now to go pick up, some chicken drumsticks to make for dinner tonight. But wanted to let everybody know I've actually gotten the Hulkbuster build started, and then after I've already put together enough where I'm now committed to this one, I end up finding a much better Hulkbuster armor file, at least in terms of detail and all. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to actually take the new file that I've got, and I'm going to have to open it up in I have to open it up in like Blender or something, because it's a complete armor, and not only is it complete, it's actually separated into the like the legs, the torso, and so forth. It's actually made as the separate pieces. So when I yeah, because like for this year, I don't know. I've been actually thinking about it, and I decided that, partly yes, because of time constraints, but also because of what I plan on doing with the armor. I'm not going to, I'm not going to do all of the shaping and things like that. I'm going to get it put together and hardened, and then painted and all. I'm also going to be marking on it like where I'm going to be doing certain things and everything. Because actually what I need to explain to a friend of mine is when you go and do all that shaping and finishing and everything, when you're planning on making additional cuts, like I'm going to actually be making it so that the shoulders, I don't know if I'm going to do the shoulder guns, because I'm actually having to look at how the structure is going to be for when I try to make the back hinge up. And I might not be able to do the shoulder guns, but I can do something like have where the chest is. I can actually have a plate. I can have a plate open up or out or whatever, and where have like a missile array or something like that. Basically, I kind of like different things that, whether or not it was actually shown to be in the Hulkbuster, I've got some ideas for, to do things that would be in the Hulkbuster. Or at least in that type of armor, and I'm quite sure what that is. Let's see. It's kind of random things I see as I'm out walking around. And if I actually had either more time or more open project slots, I should say, then yeah, I would be immediately looking at, sorry about whether or not the camera thing went weird or whatever. I mean, this is the first time I've ever done this, and, for my phone anyway, so I'm still getting the hang of this. But, yeah, but like if I actually had open project slots, then yeah, I would have actually gone over and checked out to see what it was. And like at this point, like it really does me no good, and there's not really any way I could see myself using it in any project. So I don't know. Although then again, with my luck, that could have actually ended up being like the perfect thing for whatever. So who knows? Who cares? Anyway, so right now, got the Hulkbuster going. I am going to have to take the file that I got for it just earlier today, and I'm really going to have to I'm going to have to open it up in Blender, and I'm going to have to separate it into individual pieces. Like I'm going to have to take, like right now, it's the full armor. I mean, top to toe, top to toe. But because it is so many pieces, like a finger itself on this, I mean, people don't realize like how much goes into like an armor, for example, like a finger, just a finger alone, the tip might be 1 or 2 pieces. I've seen them made both ways. Each of the sections of the finger are usually 1 piece, and that's just in a human size, like Iron Man type armor. When you're dealing with something like the Hulkbuster, each finger is like the size of my fist, and so you're talking about multiple pieces, for that. Otherwise, if you try to do it in 1 piece, the individual parts end up too large, and then you end up start overlapping pages and things like that. So, I mean, I could potentially edit the unfold so that way, like, the hand is pretty much 1 piece, and I can just go and fold up the hand together. But I mean, that requires a level of planning and everything else that it's just going to be less effort to go and put together a hand that has like 45 or 50 pieces to it, rather than trying to make a single piece. So I'm going to have to actually go and take the file that I've got. Yeah, I'm actually walking down a busy road. But what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take that file. I'm going to have to open it in Blender, which is a 3D modeling program that I use. I mean, I like it because Blender is a professional level program, by the way. I mean, there's actually a couple of like major, I can't remember which ones, but there are actually a couple of major animation features that have been done by like name brand studios that actually use Blender from start to finish. Usually they use like more industry standard tools though. But anyway, if you want to get into 3D modeling and everything, I definitely suggest you learn Blender, because if you learn Blender, then yeah, you can pretty much learn everything. Blender has a learning curve like a cliff. But if you find the same tutorial videos that I did, you'll actually be up to speed on Blender in about 2 weeks, and then give yourself about 3 or 4 days of just playing with it and just like learning it. And so within a week, you could actually be at least proficient enough in Blender, to get going. So I'm going to have to take my file, open it up in Blender, and then I'm going to have to actually separate it. The way that you do that is, like, say you have a full armor file. What you do is you save the original, thing that you open up. Because what I have to do is I have what's called a PDO, which is a Pepakura Designer, format file. And so I have to export that as an OBJ. That's a 3D model file, format. I have to take that OBJ into Blender. Then what you do is you take the first one that you get, you save that as your base file. That is your, that way in case you screw up anything else, you have that, you can recover whatever. And then what you do is you basically just pick apart the right arm, the helmet, the torso, codpiece, whatever. You pick something and you make sure that entire thing is selected. Like if I want to do the right arm for Pepakura, I would take the entire model. I would delete everything except for the right arm. And then I would actually export that as its own OBJ, making sure that I do not change the orientation or placement of the model. Because what you want to be able to do, at least what you want to be able to do, it's not strictly necessary, but it is good for if you have a full armor set, you can actually import all of them in Pepakura to get a look at the entire build and give yourself a nice, guide and see, okay, how do these all fit together and everything else. So, like I said, you take the entire armor file, and then you delete everything except for what you want in that file, like the right arm, the left leg, the helmet, the torso, whatever. And then you just do that over and over and over again. Until you have all of the individual files. Now, if you were smart about it and you did not change the orientation or placement of the model, like, you can sit there and, you can rotate the camera around the model all you want to. Do not, I think it's called transpose the model. It's been so long since I've actually had to use a lot of the terms, that I can't remember a thing. But basically what you can do is you have the virtual space the model is in. And what you see on the screen is considered the camera's view, just short form anyway. And what you can do is you can rotate the camera around the model, all three axes, whatever else, zoom it, everything. What you can also do is you can actually move the model around within that 3D space. You can change its placement, basically. So if you want to sit there and, like, say you're designing, like, a prop gun, for example. Well, you design, the barrel, and you have that centered in the screen. Well, now, you want that to be moved over to the left so you can create the next part of the gun. And then you move that all the way over and you work your way across it like that. That's just one way. But as long as you have not changed, like the placement of the model within the 3D space, then all of these individual files that you've created should be situated properly in relation to each other. So when you open up that helmet file, it will be it'll start centered, what looks like centered on the screen. Well, if you import the left leg or the right arm or whatever else, you will notice, in Pepakura Designer, if you imported that, you will notice that the head is now higher up in the virtual space, while the right arm or left leg or whatever is properly oriented to it. And so that's why it is that being able to do your 3D models correctly is very important. But right now I have the right leg almost completed. After that, I start up on the left leg. Then I do the crotch piece to be able to put those together. And then I have to start working on the torso. My issue, and I'll go and when I finally learn how to be able to show my screen when I'm recording or streaming, I'll show you. But I have the Hulkbuster. It's all a single piece statue in like a T-pose. So I have to actually go and I have to build beyond what I want to do at first. So that way, like, I have the leg piece. I have to build not just to the knee. I have to actually build up to at least the hip before I can separate the knee, because of the fact that it's all one piece. For me to be able to separate it and everything, I have to be able to have like the next pieces that like some of the stuff, like I have a piece from the thigh that it actually is is part of a shin piece that goes way up above. And that's just how the piece ended up when I was editing the unfold. So I have to build all the way up to the hip before I can cut that. So that way, the piece that goes with the shin versus the piece that goes with the thigh is actually where it's supposed to be. So, in any event, like I said, I just wanted to get a quick update on there. And then, like when I get home tonight, I'm going to see if I can try to figure out how to actually record some of my screen while I'm working. And then so I can kind of show you like the model I'm working with and everything. A couple other ones that I actually will be also discussing is the arc reactor that I've designed for the Hulkbuster armor, as well as like my Tron Legacy disc, like the repairs I need to do that, and the planned upgrades for the Tron Legacy batons that I've got going on. So Anyway, thank you for continuing to stick with me, and have a nice day. Okay, I'm not quite sure how to turn this off.